honesty. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Hello animal lovers and welcome to Critter Care. I'm Pet Guy Robert Church. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to depart a little from our usual pet care topics and rabbit hopping and snake displaying. We're going to be spending the next half hour with Lisa Milton from a company named PetLinks. We're going to cover a lot of ground today because we're going to be talking about some of the really innovative things that people and organizations are doing right across Canada to enhance the pet experience, to promote the human-animal bond, to promote responsible pet ownership, and to just really raise the bar for animal welfare in our country. And so we've got a lot of ground to cover with Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Lisa, you're from a company named PetLinks.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about how all of this stuff ties together. But we'll do this in a linear fashion, which is something not a strength of mine. Linear, logical.
I'll try and keep you on track.
Thank you so much. And we've spent a little bit of time together, and you've done a very good job of that in the past. A company named PetLinks.
Yes.
Based here in
Calgary.
Or Crossfield, isn't it?
Crossfield. I'm from north of Calgary, a little town called Crossfield. Yeah.
And so PetLinks, tell us a bit about it.
So PetLinks, I like to describe it as a lot like Child Find. So when you were a little kid, you got sent home from kindergarten with a little package of information that your parents had to take your fingerprints, maybe put in a lock of your hair, a basic description of you. And we do basically the same thing for animals. So we take a basic description of people's animals, any identification or identifiers that they have, record all that information. If their animal ever goes missing, we work with the people who find animals, the public, humane societies, vet clinics, to make sure that that animal gets home to them.
What does my registration look like then? I can put as much information about my animal online?
So I could put in my microchip for my dog. I could put in any tags or tattoos that he has, a general description about his color. If I know his breed, I can put that information in. I can even put in information to help somebody take care of my animal until they get it back to me. So a care profile. If my dog has diabetes, I want somebody to know that he has diabetes, he's on this medication, this is the kind of food he eats, all of that stuff.
The camera went on him and he stuck his head behind your leg.
He's hiding.
And it's a very fluid profile. As I understand it, if you're traveling with your pet, you can update your location to cam loops or something like that.
Absolutely. So animals go missing all the time, and often they'll go missing when we maybe aren't paying as close attention to them as we normally would at home. Maybe we're out the beach somewhere or something like that. So we're not really paying as close attention to our dog as we normally would. And so PetLinks works basically anywhere in the world and definitely anywhere in Canada.
We talked about, you can describe the colors of your dog. There's like 7 colors you can put in, and this is Tyrus.
Yes. Tyrus
is 7 years old. He's your pup. Tell us a bit about him. Where did you get him? And
so because I work with PetLinks.
Let's get Tyrus. Come on. Tyrus. A little bit more animated here, buddy.
There you go.
Jeepers.
Goodness.
Can you tell him he's going to be on TV?
No.
Okay, there. That's a little bit more.
Much better.
What I'm looking for.
Because I work with PetLinks, I was at the Humane Society one day, and the Humane Society in Calgary. And in Calgary, it happens that if you have a dog that gets brought in, that actually has to be taken to animal services. So he was brought in as just under 3 months, and he was eating out of somebody's garbage in their backyard. And they wanted somebody to hold on to him for a few minutes until animal services came to pick him up. And being the very generous person that I am, I volunteered for that duty, and I got hooked, and he had to come home with me. There was just no two ways about it. So the little fluff ball grew into this, and he's my friend.
He's an awesome, he's well behaved, he's calm.
He's very good at tricking people.
Hi, Tyrus.
What do you do?
What's it? All right. Oh, you shouldn't say
You
that.
don't have food, so.
Right. Yeah. He's not paying much attention to me.
No.
I'm not the food guy. So Tyrus has a microchip?
Tyrus does have a microchip. Typically, in dogs, and him especially, they're implanted right in the back of in between their shoulder blades here. And that means that when they go to a humane society or a vet clinic, they can scan all over the animal, but especially right in between the two shoulder blades there to find the microchip number. And then they can go to the different registries and find out who owns that particular animal.
And PetLinks is also a unifying registry.
Yeah, so the whole idea behind PetLinks was always that we would be kind of the one place in Canada, especially in the world in general, where you could go and get information about lost and found animals. Part of the problem is that there are so many different places that you can go to across Canada to find that information that it actually makes it kind of difficult to find an animal and to find that animal's owner. And so by having PetLinks, we were able to say, okay, this is the one place that's going to have information about people's animals, and hopefully we can keep it all there.
And PetLinks is becoming more and more the brand or the place to go. And
absolutely, especially in the Calgary area, but definitely all across Canada. We work with people in every region of Canada, and it is the one place where people can go.
And you also work with animal services, municipalities, humane societies.
Vet clinics actually see a lot of animals. Typically, if I find an animal, I might end up at a 24-hour emergency vet clinic before I'm ever going to end up at a municipality or a humane society. And so those people especially are one of the first responders. And not only them, the public finds most of the animals. And trying to deal with that lost and found episode before it even gets to a humane society or a vet clinic is what PetLinks is all about, being accessible to the public.
So if I find a dog,
yes,
then what do I do?
You go online and you fill out what we call a data sketch, which is essentially a paint-by-number picture of an animal. Sit. And so we have an animal, a picture of an animal, a dog for instance, and you can describe different things about the dog. So his ears, his feet, maybe his chest, his side, his tail, all the different colors. And we can say, what color is that animal? So we give them 7 different colors that they can describe that animal with. And that way, instead of doing something like a breed description, which is really difficult. I don't know about you, but I've been in this industry for a while, and I couldn't tell you what a tortie cat looks like. Or you might find a dog that somebody describes as a lab cross, but he's actually a border collie cross or something like that. Describing by breeds isn't as effective as what we do, which is that paint-by-number picture, 7 colors. Everybody's going to describe that animal in a very, very similar way.
And there's a security component here too. We're not going to run into a situation where people are trolling the found dogs and the lost dogs and,
right.
Oh, I lost this, that's my dog, and then selling it online or something.
Exactly. So we do require people to come in, sign in with a username and password. They have to have their contact information in there, and you can't just, you have to have a found report to see lost reports. You have to have a lost report to see found reports. So
PetLinks is an online utility.
Right.
And it's petlinks.com?
Petlinks.net, actually.
Petlinks.net, and it's LYNX.
That's right.
PetLinks, like the cat.
Like the cat.
.net.
You got it.
And so you can go there and you can find out how you can register your own pet and protect him from that, and it's a lifetime registration,
also transferable. So for instance, my sister has a cat. She moved to Australia. Suddenly I own my sister's cat. That's a free transfer of information. Wow. There's no charge for that, and we keep an updated record of the animal that way. We never lose track of it.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Both happy, huh? You got a free new cat. She's in Australia. So, so now PetLinks is this identification utility and getting animals home. Also, a sponsor.
Yes.
Or the creator of the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies.
You got it.
Which is an event that occurs all across Canada. There's 4 regional summits
Right.
where people come together and discuss animal issues.
Right.
And then once a year they meet either in Lake Louise or Montebello in Quebec. I've been fortunate enough to attend as a delegate 6 of the 8
That's right.
events that have gone on, and they are quite amazing. We're going to talk about that when we come back from our break. I'm with Lisa Milton from Pet Links and from the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies, and I'm Robert Church. This is Critter Care on Shaw.
The Warramps is a big family. It's people who have amputations like me. My prosthetic limbs, the Warramps gave me, helped me so much. I can run, I can horseback ride, I can swim. Your amputation doesn't hold you back. You can do whatever you want.
Welcome back to Critter Care. I'm Pet Guy Robert Church. Lisa Milton is with me today from Pet Links Corporation, and Pet Links also the sponsor of the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies, which brings people together from all across Canada, from all sectors of the pet industry, to share and to collaborate and to work together. The sum is greater than the total of the parts.
Absolutely.
And we come up with great ideas. Thank you so much for joining us. And I feel so silly and so remiss. We did a whole big thing about your pup, where he came from. How you got, I never even introduced him. This is Tyrus. Tyrus. Hi. Tyrus. T-I-R-A-S.
Yes.
Which means
My desire in Hebrew.
nice sneeze. Okay, so Tyrus, thank you for the help, and we're not done with you yet. The Summit for Urban Animal Strategies,
Right.
again, bringing people together.
Yeah.
Tell us quickly about the 4 regional summits, and then the one big one, and what industry sectors we're seeing at these.
So when we talk about industry sectors, there's kind of 5 different ones. There's care and control, which would be municipalities and people like that. Health and wellness, vet clinics, people like that. Shelters and rescue, obviously. Retail and services, so somebody like you or a pet insurance company. And then the last one we've just started to identify is community services. So these are actually people who are dealing with human animals on a regular basis, but because of the work they do, they're probably dealing a lot with urban animals at the same time. So those are the 5 sectors that we talk about.
5 sectors and 4 summits across Canada.
4 regional conferences. So we have a conference in Halifax, Toronto, Calgary, and Vancouver. And at those conferences, we try and bring 5 to 6 really innovative stories that are happening in each of those communities. And then we actually take 2 of those stories, vote them up to the national or international summit in Lake Louise every year. And 2 of those stories from every region actually get to come and present at the international. And that way we can get these really great ideas and things that are happening all across Canada out to the rest of Canada, because otherwise nobody knows about it.
And so let's talk a little bit about some of those stories that we're finding.
So probably the most interesting and innovative one that we saw this year especially is WOOF, Working on Our Future. And they're a group out of Nova Scotia, and they work with the Humane Society there and the Department of Justice there. And those are the people who are dealing with housing offenders, basically. And so what they do is they bring in puppies and dogs with behavioral issues or no training at all. And the offenders that are there work with those animals to train them and basically make them more adoptable animals. And it's not just helpful for the animals, it's really helpful for the offenders that are working with those animals. A lot of times they've never had any positive interaction with anybody or no expectation of what behavior might be. And so it's not just training the animals, it's training the offenders at the same time.
And this is from a fairly violent prison. These are not pickpockets and
right.
and things. There's some pretty significant issues here, and that's why the the results have been
so positive.
so
and the reoffense results, typically you find that there's a fairly high percentage of offenders who get released and then are back in the system within 2 months maybe. And the offenders that have gone through this program are actually finding volunteer positions at the Humane Society or jobs with other retail outlets or behavior training places across the province, and are really able to make a difference in their own lives.
And it was so interesting because there was a guard presenting.
Right.
And he was, I mean, he's seen a lot of things in his life, and he was very passionate about this because this was one of very few programs that he has seen that is successful at getting through to these people and actually helping them to change their lives. And in the process, they're saving animals' lives as well. And of course, that raises the awareness, and the public goes, wow, you know what? They get a well-trained dog. And it's a feel-good story all the way around.
So we actually have awards that we give out every year at the summit, and they won the Innovation Award this year. And I was able to talk to them after, and we're going to provide them with a second award, which they're going to present to the actual offenders that are working in the program, and they're going to be able to put it in the room that they actually have there where they do all the work, and they are so excited about that, really encouraged.
Sure. And it's such great work. It's one of those programs that's cost effective.
Absolutely.
And I know it goes on in other prisons around North America, but this one seems to be one of the most dynamic and
absolutely
just has the most dramatic results.
Something you typically see in the States and not so much in Canada so far, and so this is one of the first ones in Canada, and hopefully it's going to be brought out all across the country.
Hopefully that'll turn into a real good model, because there are just so many wins there. It's just such powerful stuff.
Absolutely.
Great story. Lisa Milton with us, Tyrus, the Wonder Dog, helping us along as well. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about a few other of the innovators at the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies. And when we come back, I'm Robert Church. This is Critter Care on Shaw.
Crown Produce Canada West Football is live on Shaw. Tune in Saturday, November 9th, when the thundering herd of the Manitoba Bisons stampede into Calgary to face the 5-time defending champion Calgary Dinos. Crown Produce Canada West Football, only on Shaw.
Welcome back to Critter Care. I'm pet guy Robert Church, and Tyrus is here with us, moaning and whining a little bit. He's quite an emotional dog every now and then. When it comes to treats, he's a very good actor.
That's true.
And can be very, very convincing that he is underfed and starving.
You can tell by his body condition score.
But wonderful, wonderful dog. And Lisa Milton is with us from PetLinks Corporation, but also one of the driving forces behind the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies, which is a series of conferences that brings people from the pet world together all across Canada. They share ideas, they share innovations, and then they celebrate the best of the best at an awards ceremony, which was held not too long ago. I've been fortunate enough to attend 6 of the last 8 of the summits, as I'm actually the president of PJAC Alberta, which is the Pet Industry Joint Advisory Council of Canada. So I represent that sector, and since we mentioned that, we'd like to congratulate PJAC Canada for 25 years as an organization, celebrating that this year, and also we'd like to congratulate the Ontario SPCA for their 140th birthday. So things have probably changed a lot for them.
Just a bit.
And I bring that up because those were both acknowledged at the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies. And again, we're celebrating innovation and things. So one of the other programs that was profiled was Petland. The Petland in Red Deer, partnering with the Alberta Animal Services. And they've built a shelter in their store. And Alberta Animal Services brings in animals. Do you want to?
Yeah, so they actually met at the Summits for Animal Strategies a number of years ago, and Erica Coomber, who's from Alberta Animal Services, and Amy Pawson from Petland in Red Deer. Erica had approached them because they were having some really hard times getting their adoption rates up in their particular shelter. And they really felt like if they could move the adoption out of the shelter into a more positive environment, that they'd actually have some great adoption numbers, some better return to owner rates, and ultimately lower euthanasia rates, which is really what we're all working towards there. And so Erica approached Amy from Petland, and they've been going on now, I think it's about 3 years they've been working on this. They've worked with people from all over the States and Canada trying to find the best model for this, and they're currently building their own adoption center inside the Petland in Red Deer, which will house both both cats and dogs for adoption. And they have seen very large increase in their adoption rates, proving that it is a much more advantageous place to adopt out animals.
And the Alberta Animal Services is actually staffing that part of the shelter.
So typically in a retail situation, you'd have the retail staff that are actually doing those adoptions or the pet sales, whichever they are in that particular retail venue. And it was actually kind of a challenge for them because it's not really easy to give up that ability and that privilege of rehoming those animals, and to be able to work together so effectively that you can have those two organizations and have animal services come in and actually do the adoptions. It's a really remarkable thing that they're doing.
The shelter should be done fairly soon.
They'll be open in 2014, they're saying, early 2014. And they're already doing the adoptions, but the actual new facility that they're opening in the Red Deer Petland will be 2014.
So if you're in Red Deer, driving by, stop by and ask for a look around, because the retail rescue model is it's certainly taking off in the United States.
Yes.
And what they've done at the Petland in Red Deer with the Alberta Animal Services is, everybody has to modify their programs to suit the situation, but they work together really well, and that is certainly a compliment to Erica Coomber from Alberta Animal Services and Amy Possum from Petland. We should give them both a little shout out for that good work that they're doing. So let's take a quick break. That's another nice collaboration. We're not, I had quite a few of them. We had the Toronto Animal Services microchip truck. They're going out and they're getting all these animals microchipped.
Right.
And I don't think we're going to have time to get to all of them today. But we'll be back in just a minute. I'm Robert Church. This is Critter Care on Shaw.
We are the voice of the community. We are its personality, its heart. We are Shaw TV.
Well, that is one delicious looking rawhide, isn't it, Tyrus, huh? It's okay, buddy. I'm not going to take it away from you. I promise. I'm not. Tyrus is with us today. I'm Robert Church. This is Critter Care on Shaw, and Lisa Milton also with us from the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies. You ever figure out what kind of dog he is?
We're pretty sure he's got to be some kind of a husky cross. I always just pretend he's some kind of a coyote cross, whatever.
He's got that fluffy tail and he's got that look.
And when he gets really dirty, he definitely looks like a coyote cross.
Right. Well, the Summit, back to the Summit, away from Tyrus for a minute. The Summit for Urban Animal Strategies rewards innovation and collaboration with they've got a great awards. It's like so an academy. We do 12 awards every year, Academy-style voting and nominations. This year we had 56 nominations and just under 700 votes from across North America for those. Really amazing awards. This year we had a cat breeder win the breeder award, which is the first time in my recollection that that's actually happened. Not very often. Usually you hear about dog breeders. We had
collaboration, the community collaboration was Michelle Lem and her work with veterinary outreach. So they actually go out and do vet checks for animals owned by homeless people or people struggling to get by, and just making sure that there's veterinary care out there for those animals.
Sure. That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, very. Communication Award, Associate Veterinary Clinics. Did some work with communications this year, teaching about behavior and stuff like that. That was really, really innovative. Nobody else has really done anything like that. So great communication award for them.
And there's a Lifetime Achievement or an Individual Achievement Award?
There's a Lifetime Achievement and an individual. Individual Achievement this year went to a person who I'm really familiar with, Randy Velpe. He actually helps with or runs one of the pet insurance companies across Canada, which is near and dear to my heart, mostly because it's pet insurance. I actually had a really great experience this year with pet insurance.
He's Pets Plus Us.
Pets Plus Us,
Correct?
That's right, yeah.
Which is a fairly new company.
Absolutely, the newest brand in that space in Canada.
Tell us about your experience. I think that's what we want to get to.
I was dog sitting for a very good friend of mine, and the dog got hurt. It fell 10 feet and hit the floor, and I was certain I'd killed this poor dog, a tiny little dog. It was terrifying for me, and personally, my first reaction to that is almost always going to be, oh my goodness, how much is that going to cost? I've never had pet insurance before, so it doesn't even occur to me that I shouldn't think of that. And turns out that that dog did actually have pet insurance, and I didn't have to think about that. And that was kind of my aha moment of, hey, this is actually why it's really valuable. I can now base my care for that animal on what that animal needs as opposed to how much it's going to cost me. And that was an amazing learning experience. I'm currently in the process of adopting another animal. It's a specific breed that's really prone to cancer, heart disease, and hip issues. I know.
All right.
But I'm a mindful pet owner. I
Sure.
educated myself about this first. And so the first thing I did as a mindful pet owner was go out there, investigate pet insurance, and now I'm going to have pet insurance for all 3 of my animals because of that one little event in my life.
And it's something that in Europe apparently is very, very popular.
Much more
Insanely
common.
popular.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it might stem from a different value system and just the way that they have been brought up to think about what we expect for care for our animals. It's definitely been a more long-term thing there than we have in North America. It's much newer here. So it's about educating people on why that's a valuable course.
Very small, very, very low penetration for pet insurance.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure if it's in Canada because we have such great health care ourselves that we pay very little for.
Right.
You know, and so I don't pay for me, but I'm going to pay for my pet. It's kind of that same, if I get an animal for free, am I going to pay to get it spayed and do all, like, am I going to invest money into something that's free?
Right.
Let's add value and build value into these things, and that always improves the care.
The care for the animals. And yeah, it really is that. It's about building value into your animal and your care experience and just your pet owner experience. And if we can do that through pet insurance or any other way, the summits, we're building a better experience for the people out there who own animals.
Interesting about the summits is that it does bring together a lot of different sectors of the industry. I'm in the pet retail side. There are animal welfare organizations, the veterinarians, there's pet insurance people, there's all kind of people sitting down at the same table saying, how do we work together to solve these issues and raise the bar of animal care across the board, because every industry, every sector has its issues. The retail sector has its issues.
Absolutely.
The veterinarians, the welfare people, they all have issues, and yet animal welfare is everybody's business.
Everybody's business.
So I think
perfect way of saying that.
I think it's good that we all work together on it and collaborate. And my kudos to yourself and to Larry Evans from PetLinks for bringing everybody together to work on this. It's a really important work, and I think it's going to be a catalyst for change.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Lisa Milton with us today from PetLinks and from the Summit for Urban Animal Strategies. Join us next week for more Critter Care. I'm Robert Church. Thanks a lot. We'll see you then.
And welcome to another episode of City Vibes. I'm Will Wilson and I'm substituting for Stephanie Ponte this week. Well, fall may be leaving us, but we've got some good shows for your cold winter season. If you'd like to invite us to any events, feel free to call us at 587